Hello and welcome back to another, I'm sure, riveting video in which I'm going to sketch some stuff. So for the past couple of weeks, my mom has a booth at a farmer's market here in Florida, and sometimes I help her out. I go help set up and spend the whole day at the farmer's market, and I figured if I'm going to be here all day, I might as well keep my brain a little occupied when I'm not helping her sell stuff. So I decided to pick up my sketchbook and do a little sketching. So the thing about the farmer's market is that there's always a bunch of cool, interesting, fascinating things to look at and to see at a farmer's market, but they don't happen right in front of you. You kind of have to walk the grounds a little bit to truly get like the lifeblood of what's going on in the farmer's market. Excuse my voice, I'm sorry. But yeah, you have to kind of walk the grounds to really get the full effect of all the interesting things there are to draw in the farmer's market. So that being said, I did take my phone and my camera and I went walking the grounds for a little bit because, like I said, I'm helping my mom, so I kind of have to be tied to the booth a little bit. So I, right after setup, just took a little quick once around and took pictures of different things that I saw as I was going through the farmer's market and as people were setting up. And we had like our early attendees coming through. I just snapped a bunch of different pictures. And that's what you're seeing me work with here. I'm using a bunch of pictures to fill out this sketchbook page. I don't know, does that count as urban sketching? I feel like most people, when you see them doing urban sketchbook stuff, they are sat right in front of the thing. They are really quickly sketching people as they pass by. I am not very good at quickly getting the gestures down for people. And I say this with like however many years of life drawing experience that I had previously, where you're kind of like the structure of figure drawing is essentially gesture drawing really quickly, then you move on to longer and longer timed poses. I must have lost the skill set along the way. I am not good at really getting to like the nooks and crannies of drawing people in these really fast like interactions. When I tell you that taking pictures and like using that has been a godsend, because usually when I'm working in my sketchbook and I'm trying to like, we're gonna draw from life today, guys. Whenever I do that, I really struggle with things looking the way that I want them to look. I think I tend to come down on the side of like, this looks awful. A lot when I'm trying to draw from life. If you saw a couple videos ago, I just had like a whole thing where I was like really struggling to like figure out how to draw from life in person in my sketchbook for most of the video, and I guess we are still working through that in this phase. But I do think the ability to kind of have the reference picture in front of me and to the side versus struggling to really quick get these gestures down really helped me a lot. So maybe my struggle is more in the fact that when I'm gesture drawing, I have to figure out how to make things like quickly that I'm happy with, that I'm okay with. I think I just like to take more time when I'm drawing, even though these didn't take very long. I think I just like the benefit of time. Yeah. As usual, my main focus was drawing people. If you've been here for any stretch of time, you've probably picked up that I like drawing characters and people a lot, so it's no surprise that that's kind of what I gravitated towards when filling up this sketchbook page. Although I do have like a couple like food and plant stuff, and one dog. I actually there's so many dogs that come through the farmer's market that I do think I want to do maybe a full spread of drawing dogs. I'm not very good at drawing animals, especially from life, so that's the point, right? You're supposed to do things like this so you can build your personal vocabulary for, I have like a reference in mind. Whenever I want to draw a dog, I kind of have a vague idea of like, this is the body shape, boop, bap, boop, here's a dog. I'm at the point now where I can essentially do that for people because I draw them so often. I would like to have that for animals as well. So I gotta practice drawing my dogs. Next time we go to the farmer's market, that's gonna be our main goal. We're drawing animals, y'all. I also really liked being able to draw people in more of a relaxed pose than I, would usually tend to draw people in. That's the nice thing about drawing out in the field, drawing out in like cafe sketching, or I guess farmers market sketching. The nice thing is that you do get to have this reference of people just in a very casual and relaxed state, versus if you're drawing from maybe photos off Pinterest or something like that, it tends to be more posy. These are pictures being taken for a reason, versus just watching regular people stand up and wait in line for something. So it was nice to be able to do that. I feel like, speaking of building your visual vocabulary there, I do think it's really good to have things like this in mind, maybe for crowd scenes and stuff like that later, because I do find that whenever I have to draw a crowd of people, it's really difficult to think of like so many poses for random different people. You start running out eventually, so it's nice to have just an array of like, okay, different stances that people usually take when they're standing in line or something to that effect, or they're just there and it feels natural and it doesn't feel rigid and stiff. So shout out to the farmers market for helping with that. The two last things that I worked on in my sketchbook today were actually plant life. I'm a plant girly now. There's this ginormous tree that's in the middle of the farmer's market, and it has this really funky stump, as evidenced by this sketch right here. It's gnarly and like all curled. I don't know. It's the funkiest tree stump you've ever seen. It's not even a tree stump. It's a whole tree, but the roots of the tree are like all over the place. I don't know what kind of tree it is. I should probably look it up or ask my mom. She knows a lot about plants. But yeah, it was fascinating, and every time I pass by it, I am enamored with looking at it. It's so funky and weird and cool. So obviously I had to draw it. Eventually I kind of just went off book. I just put the reference down and I was just doing what felt right when it came to the tree, because it was so curly Q and all over the place that I just kind of let my imagination do what it will with that one. So not really a from life picture, as more as like an interpretation of life with this one. There's also a guy here at the farmer's market, and you'll see in a second the floral arrangement that I bought from him, but he does floral arrangements and they are the coolest, funkiest flowers you ever saw. However, the funkier the flowers, the more expensive the arrangement. So mine's a little bit more of a traditional bouquet, but he has, bar none, the coolest flowers. They look alien. I need to take a video of them for next time. I took a bunch of pictures, but I need to take a video of them. They are so funky and cool, and like I said, I bought some for myself, but I did buy a cheaper one, so I didn't get any of the weird alien plants in mine. But I did go ahead and try to sketch them a little bit. I wouldn't say that I'm the best at doing flowers. I think everything when it comes to plants and florals gets a little interpretive for me, because I just don't have the discipline to draw all those little pieces. I really don't. So it's a little bit interpretive, but I liked it. I thought it came out cute. And I also like being able to use my Tombow markers in this way. I rarely ever use that little bullet nib. I always use a brush. So I was kind of feeling it. I might draw a little bit more with the little bullet nib on my Tombow markers now. That was really fun. And with that, we are now basically at the end of the video. It's kind of a quick one today. I didn't do anything fancy or anything crazy. I just wanted to draw in my sketchbook. Just a girl standing in front of her sketchbook, asking to draw. That's all today was. But yeah, you know the vibes. New video on my channel every other Saturday. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things down below. Also, please hit that bell notification so you know when we're up and running, when things are going. and you can, be along for the ride when the time comes. But with that, I take my leave, and I'm wishing you all a great Saturday or whatever day it is when you watch this. Goodbye.